Welcome or welcome back to this channel. Like always, I'm gonna be drawing and talking. This time I'm gonna be using color pencils. I've realized that many people use them. Until recently, I've been thinking this way. Even though color pencils are easily accessible, they are not good tools to make a great art. But now I feel like trying it. Anyway, let's enjoy it. Today's theme is how to accept the differences in a relationship. This can be applicable not only with your partners, but also with your colleagues, parents, or anyone you are close to. If your thought is completely different from your partner's, I recommend you just stay away from the person. That's gonna be very simple. So the problem is mostly comfortable to be around, but sometimes, even though it's in a rare occasions, very hard to accept your partner's behavior or thought. Let's start with the worst things you should avoid. Not to accept it without articulating your frustration. I know most people do this because everyone doesn't want to be hated, and this looks like the most peaceful solution. However, once you do this, you'll gradually lose yourself. If you don't express your opinions, you are almost invisible. You may be able to avoid conflicts with this, but that's not the end goal of partnership. So, what's the thing you should do instead? Just express your frustration and listen to your partner's opinion. You might be thinking this is obvious. However, like I said, many people tend to just accept it or, in worst cases, get into a bad mood or get grumpy. This worst choice leads to less conversation and eventually devastate your relationships. If you want to get to know each other profoundly, you have to express your opinion, listen to your partner's opinion, and at least try to understand it, even if you eventually cannot accept it. Then, after expressing each other's opinion, there are three choices you can do. Firstly, you get completely convinced of your partner's opinion and realize that it's much better than your thought, and eventually you change your thought. Second, even after listening to your partner's opinion, you are not completely convinced, and you two agree to behave differently in these specific situations. This is the second. However, there is the third option for couples. Your thought is different from mine, but in this situation we have to act together as a married couple. Let's find a middle point. How far can we compromise to each other? This is the last of the three. The most important thing is you shouldn't stick to your original thought. Sometimes you have to change it. Accept new thought. If possible, you should check if your partner also has this flexible mindset. If your partner are not willing to change at all, I recommend you break up with him as soon as possible. You or your partner or both of you are never gonna be happy. Let me talk a little bit about our relationship. My wife and I, as a married couple, what kind of conflict we have, what kind of different thoughts we have, and how to solve the problem. My wife's thought is focused on manner or not throwing away things which can be still used. And my thought is mainly focused on the amount of happiness of myself, my family, or the people around me. With these little differences in our thought, the conflict sometimes we have is like this. For example, the last part of toothpaste. When you almost finish using it, it doesn't come out easily. Honestly, I easily give up on it and start using new one. But my wife insists on using it until the last of last. Because like I said, she doesn't want to throw away the things which can be still used. Before, we had some conflicts over it, but these days we don't push each other because there's no right or wrong. Both styles should be respected. So these days when I think I finish using a toothpaste, I just start using the next one, but I put old one on the sink, not into trash can. because my wife will use it until the last of last. Another impressive thing is goshugi, which is a tradition in Japan. A tradition to give some money to wedding couples at the wedding party. The point is, the money should be crisp new, not the manner. About a few years ago, one of my cousins got married. I was invited to the party, but the previous weekdays I was really busy, so couldn't go to a bank to get a crisp new bill. So I was about to give them a normal bill, not so dirty so, but not so crisp. But my wife asked me to go to a bank and get a crisp new bill. So I did it, but it was raining and the bank was far from my office. Eventually I was drenched. Felt miserable to join that kind of ceremonial event. I still believe that the quality of the bill didn't matter to my cousin. The quality of the bills will never affect his happy moment. I know tradition is important, but it must be made for somebody's happiness. After this event, my wife and I concluded that about this kind of ceremonial situations, we behave differently. And as for something you use, my wife used the last part. Anyway, if you find your partner's thought or behavior difficult to accept, say it. Express your frustration and exchange your opinions. If you find this story convincing enough, try it from today on. Well, it's almost done. Even though this is my first trial of color pencils, I've realized that the color pencils brand is very important, like many other artists say. I want to try out many other color pencils brands. Anyway, that's it today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like, let's draw together. See you next time.